Hello students, today we are going to learn something more about the loops and particularly the implementation part of the loops. As you know, loops are also called as repetitions or iterative statements. Loop can be defined as a statement that is used to execute the set of statements again and again. So loop itself is a statement that is used to execute a set of statements again and again. In this set of statements you can have from a single statement to as many statements as you want. There is no restriction to the number of statements from 1 to n statements in loop. Now in C we have three types of loops: while loop, for loop and do while loop. I'll give quick brush up of all the loops and we have already studied it. Now whether the loop is a while loop, for loop or do while loop, every loop has got four important parts. First part is initialization, second part is condition, third part is incrementation, and fourth part is body. These are the four important parts of a loop, any loop, whether it's a while loop, for loop or do while loop. The first three parts are called as control statement, that is initialization, condition and incrementation is called control statement. Now another concept that is linked with the loops is the life cycle of a loop. By life cycle of a loop, in the life cycle of the loop we see how the statements of loop are executed, how many times the initialization is done, how many times the condition is repeated, how many times the incrementation is repeated, and how many times the body is repeated. In the life cycle we see the sequence in which these statements are executed. Because if we don't understand the life cycle of loop, we won't be able to understand the loops itself. The second is the number of times the loop executes its body. That is called as passes or number of iterations of a loop. Now suppose the body of the loop executes once, we say the loop has completed one pass. If the body is executed 10 times, we say in the loop we have 10 passes. So the number of times the body of a particular loop is executed, that is the set of statements in the body is executed, we say that many passes of a loop. By a single pass we mean executing the body once, that is all the statements that are present in the body of the loop are at least executed once. Once they are executed once, we say it is a one pass. Second time they are executed again, we say it's a second pass. Now we have to determine how many times the loop executes. That can be determined by the condition of a loop. Till the condition is true, the loop's pass is executed. That is, if the condition is true first time, the body of the loop is executed, we say the first pass. Next time the condition is again checked, and if it is true, if the body is executed again, we say it's a second pass, so on and so forth. Now passes are also called as iterations. Note, the initialization, condition and incrementation is related to a variable that controls a loop. That variable we call as loop variable or control variable. Once I implement the loops, you will understand what is control variable. It is nothing but a memory location that controls the loop, and the condition of a loop is based on that variable, and the initialization of that variable is essential, and so is the incrementation. So initialization, condition, and incrementation are related to control variable. That is why these three are called as control statement. Okay. Now let us see the first one, that is the while loop. This is the syntax of the while loop. First we have a keyword while. This is essential, we should write this. Then we have in braces we have a condition followed by two more braces, and within the braces is the body of a loop. Now based on the condition, the body will be executed. If the condition is true, body will be executed, and if the condition is false, the body won't be executed. Now, how many times the body is executed, that we call as number of passes or number of iterations. Now till the condition is true, loop body will be executed. By executing the loop body we mean the set of statements in the body, and executing each statement one by one. Now as you see in the while loop, the condition is at the top, therefore we call it as pre-tested loop or entry control loop or top tested loop. Since if you see the first statement of the loop, and in the first statement of the loop itself there is a condition, so the condition is present in the beginning of itself. If the condition is present in the beginning, such loops are called as entry controlled, pre-tested loops or top tested loops. So while loop is a top tested loop or pre-tested loop or entry control loop, because the condition is present at the beginning of the loop. Now if the condition is present at the end of the loop, that is the last statement of the loop, then such loops are called as bottom tested loop or entry exit control loops or post tested loops. So far as while loop is clear, its condition is at the beginning, therefore it is a pre-tested loop. Okay. Now this is the example program I'll be using to show you how the while loop works. Now this is the algorithm, and it is independent of the programming language. So if you find it different from what I write in the IDE, don't be confused with it, because it's a pseudocode. It is not the program itself. It is not the C language itself. This is independent of the language. As I have already told, that algorithm can be represented by two methods. One is the pseudocode and one is the flowchart. So this is the pseudocode, that is, it has got English language like statements to explain the logic of a program. My program is to display first 10 even numbers. As you know, even numbers are those numbers which are divisible by 2. This even series starts with 2, next even number is 4, then next number is 6, next number is 8, so on and so forth. What we are supposed to do in this program, we have to display first 10 even numbers. Okay. The step 1 is start. Then I use a variable I, which I am initializing equal to 1, and I use another variable as even, which I initialize to 0. Now this I is my loop control variable. As I told you, on a loop control variable there are three things that we have to do. One is initialization, second is the condition, and third is the incrementation. Whenever you have a loop control variable, it should have these three things, even though it is not compulsory. Let us now see what happens. If I is equal to 1, okay, now this is my third step, is a while loop, and this step, that while loop, is used to execute these two steps that are present within its body. Now these three steps that are present within its body. Where from the body starts? From this begin to this end. In C we don't write begin and end, we put two curly braces for this, and As I told you, this is not a program, this is a solution in pseudocode form. That is solution for printing the or displaying the first 10 even numbers. Now, so if I say I is a loop control variable, I have to check three things. First is initialization. As you see in step 2, I am doing initialization. That is, I am setting I equal to 1. In pseudocodes, we don't declare variables. We simply give the name of some variable and we use it. But in C, if you give name like this or you use a variable name, you have to declare that variable before mentioning its name in the program. Okay, otherwise it will lead to compilation errors. Now I has been initialized to 1. This is the first part of the loop. Then on the I there is a condition based, I is less than or equal to 10. So this is the second part on the loop control variable. As I told, we have to do three things. First is initialization, then there's a condition, and then there is a incrementation. Incrementation I am doing here, that is I is equal to I plus 1. So all the three parts of the control statement within the loop are present. That is initialization, condition and incrementation. Now then actually if you see now, initialization is before the while loop. So initialization in case of while loop is not the part of loop and it should be placed before the while loop. Now if you see incrementation, that is present within the body of a loop. So incrementation we have to place within the body of a loop, that is within begin and end. And now if you see the condition, condition is immediately after the while loop. That is whenever we write a while loop, we have to mention the condition that controls the loop. Now as I told you, loops are statements that are used to execute set of statements again and again. Now your question can be, how does the loop know how many times it has to execute the set of statements? For that we have a loop control variable or a loop counter. This loop counter is used to count the number of times the body is executed, and actually it determines, this loop control variable determines how many times a body is executed depending upon the condition set on the loop control variable. Now my condition here is I is less than or equal to 10. Till the value of I will be less than or equal to 10, this loop will execute. The moment the value of I becomes more than 10, the loop will terminate. Okay, so it is the condition which determines the time, the number of times the loop will be executed, and the number of times the loop is executed, that many times its body is executed, and that many passes we have for a particular loop, or that many iterations we have for the particular loop, or that many repetitions we have for a execution of the body. That is why loops are also called as iterative statements or repetitions, because they are used to repeatedly execute the body depending upon the condition. This is an important point, that is how many times the loop will execute. I told you as many times the condition is true. If you see, initially I am setting I to 1, then I am writing the condition. Is 1 less than or equal to 10? Yes, that is true. 1 is less than 10. Either 1 should be less than 2, or it should be, sorry, 1 should be less, I should be less than 10, or I should be equal to 10. In both cases the condition will be true. So the values of I that will make this condition true are I is equal to 1, I equal to 2, I equal to 3, I equal to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. The moment the I becomes 11, the condition becomes false. So it is the value of I that is checked or compared with 10, and till the value of I remains less than or equal to 10, the loop body will be executed. Okay, now if the I will not change, that means once I set I equal to 1, and suppose I am not doing an incrementation here, I will remain always 1, and 1 is always less than or equal to 10, and in that case the loop body will never terminate, or sorry, the loop will never terminate. That is, body will be executed infinitely. Such loops are called as infinite loops because such loops never terminate. Okay, because their condition is always true. Now, are they beneficial or not? Yes, they are beneficial. Once we see the implementations of the loops, I can show you how the infinite loops are beneficial. Okay, now there are certain situations where we cannot find a solution without using the infinite loops. Okay, they are not always harmful or useless, because once I have seen the student listening to infinite loops, or once he is told about infinite loops, he feels they are useless. No, it's not like that. They are useful loops. Okay, now the moment, now let us see the life cycle. What happens? First step is I is equal to 0. Then this is the first step in the life cycle of a loop. That is how the loop is executed. What are the different stages in the execution of a loop? Like, what are the different stages in the life cycle of an organism that we call as a life cycle of a particular organism? Now let us try to see what is meant by life cycle of a loop. That is, what are the different statements that are executed, and rather what are the different stages that the loop goes through during its execution. We call those that as life cycle. In the first step we have seen, the first part is initialization, and that is outside the loop. Naturally this will not be repeated again and again because it is out of the body, so this step is done only once. Initialization is done only once. Now once I come to the loop, then remains the condition. In the life cycle of the loop, the first step is initialization. Second step in the life cycle of while loop is checking the condition. Okay, if the condition is true, loop body is executed, and if the condition is false, loop is terminated and the control is transferred to the step 4, that is end. Okay, now in our case I is equal to 1, therefore I is less than or equal to 10. Yes, true. So we go into the loop body and loop body is executed. Now this is basically, the condition is basically a relational statement. What we used in conditional statements, what we call as condition or test expression, that was nothing but a relational, what you call expression. That was a relational expression. So the condition is a relational expression, and you know I have talked about relational expressions in the previous videos, and you can see you can watch those videos. But the important thing is that we have still a lot to learn about these what we call relational expressions. I'll be handling that part in the coming what you call lectures, but right now it is enough for you to know that the condition of a loop is a relational expression, and the operator here used is a relational operator. It's a comparison operator. Okay, that where I check is I less than or equal to 10. Okay, I could have written here, because it's a pseudocode, while I is less than, in English I could have written I is less than or equal to 10. Okay, now your condition is true, loop's condition is true, so loop is executed. E1 is equal to E1 plus 2. The initial value of E1 is 0, so it becomes 0 plus 2, that is it becomes a 2. Okay, now I display the E1. Here the display is a statement that is used to display the E1 on a output device. That is this variable E1, its contents are displayed on a output device. In pseudocode you can use a display, or you can use an output instead of display. You can write an output here, that will be also same as display. Now once you display the first even number, that is because 0 plus 2 is 2 and 2 is stored in the even, so you display the first even number. After that what happens? You say I is equal to I plus 1. That means I was initially 1. In the second part of second stage of the life cycle, I checked I with 10. That means I checked 1 with 10 because value of I is 1. Okay, but now the here, that is in the incrementation, I am altering the value of I. I increase the value of I by 1 and store that in I. That means now I should become 1 is the previous value of I, and then 1 plus 1 is now 2. Okay, once these three statements have been done, we say the first pass of the loop is over. Okay, because in the body of this loop there are three statements, and once this statement has been done, this statement has been done, this statement has been done, I say the first pass or first iteration has completed. Now after the iteration is done, the control is transferred back. Because loops are set or the statements that are used to execute the set of statements again and again. My set of statements that will be executed again and again are these three statements that are within the body. Okay, and these three statements will be executed again and again till the condition is true. Okay, now once I go to the top of loop again, you will see the condition now 2 is compared with 10. Yes, it is less than 10. So body is executed again, I is incremented again, then that will be the second pass of the loop. Now how many passes? It depends on till I is less than or equal to 10. Now I keeps on incrementing and the condition is continuously being checked. Once the body is completed, control is transferred back. Control transferred back means again now the condition will be checked. Okay, and once the condition is checked, if the condition is true, now this condition remains true till your I is less than or equal to 10. The moment it becomes 11, the body won't be executed. Now the control will be transferred to the end. I hope it's clear now. So we can understand the life cycle of this while loop like this. Initially initialization, this is done only once and outside the body. Then the condition is checked. Okay, if the condition is true, the statements of body are executed, and within the statements of body there is one more statement that increases the value of I, and again after that the condition is checked. Now this process will repeat again and again till the condition is true. Okay, initialization only once, condition is checked for every pass, and incrementation is done for every pass. Now condition is checked, and if it is true, the loop's body is executed, incrementation is done at the end. Now after that again the control is transferred to the top of the loop. I hope it is clear. Let us practically implement this and see how it is implemented. Okay, now I can write int instead of display we can use printf. This is the statement. Let us now see what happens. What I will I will wash these values. Now let us see what happens. And put a screen here and start executing. Now see here, in the body of this while loop, that is from this first starting curly braces to the ending curly braces, there are three statements. First statement is I am increasing the value of the even by 2 and storing it in even. Then the second statement is I am displaying what is in the even, and the third statement is I am changing the value of I. As I told you, I is a loop control variable. Now initially I am putting value of I equal to 1. This is initialization. Then I am checking the condition, and then within the body I am incrementing the loop control variable. Let us see. See, the first step is I has a junk value. Now it has a value 1. You see here. Even has a value 0. Okay. Then I am clearing the screen. Now this will demonstrate to you how the loop body is executed. Now condition is true or not. 1 is less than or equal to 10 or not. Yes, it is. So what is being done? The first step of the body is even is equal to even plus 1. This is the first statement within the body. Now next, the value of even is incremented, is changed to 2. This happens to be my first even number, because in case of the even numbers, the new even number is the previous even number plus 2. Now suppose my first even number is 2. Next number will be 2 plus 2, that is 4. Next number will be 4 plus 2, that is 6. The same thing we are doing again and again. We are increasing the previous even number by 2 and displaying that number. Now if you see in the screen, the first even number is displayed because of this printf. Now after this, I is changed to 2. Okay, is the condition true? Now see here, there was a backward jump. Loops are again used to do backward jumps. Okay, now there's a condition here. Same way we had a condition in if, but in case of if, we did not have iterations. We simply executed the set of statements depending upon the condition, or we skipped those set of statements. Again, these set of statements are executed depending upon the condition, but in this case it is again and again till the condition is true. Okay, now see, I is 2, the condition is still true, so this condition will remain true till you see I is changing. The statements are, this is the fifth pass now. I is 5. If you check the user screen, it would have printed the 5 numbers. Okay, now again, this is the 7th pass. Now is the 8th pass. Now is the 9th pass. In each pass it is printing a new even number. Okay, then comes the 10th pass. Now I is 10. Still the condition is true. Now once the I becomes 11, because of its incrementation, the condition is false, and if you now you see the control will be transferred out of the loop. See, this is how loops execute. Alt F5. These are the first 10 even numbers that are being displayed on the screen. Okay, this is how the life cycle of the while loop works. Once again I can show you. The first step in the life cycle is initialization, that is here. Then the second step is checking the condition. Okay, then if the condition is true, the third step is execution of the body. Now body is executed. This is the third stage. Okay, then the fourth stage is incrementation. Okay, once the incrementation is done, then again we check the condition. Now these steps will be repeated again and again, but initialization in the life cycle is done only once. Checking condition is always done at the beginning. Incrementation is done at the end. Control is transferred back. Then again condition is checked. If true, body is executed. Incrementation is done. If false, control is transferred out of the loop. Now see here, the control is again transferred to the top of loop, and the condition is checked. Again to the top of loop, the condition is checked. Again to the top of loop, condition is checked. I is continuously changing. The condition is still true till I is 7. Then for 8 also it is true. For 9 also it is true. For 10 also it is true. For 11 the condition will become false and life cycle ends. These are the different stages in the life cycle of a while loop. Initialization is outside the body of a loop. Then after that condition is checked. After that body is executed. After that incrementation is done. After that control is transferred to the top of loop. Again condition is checked. If condition is true, body is executed, incrementation is done. Again the condition is checked. If the condition is true, body is executed, incrementation is done. Again the condition is checked. The moment the condition becomes false, the life cycle ends. The life cycle of the while loop ends. And if the condition does not become false, the loop will continue to execute, and in that case we will have an infinite loop. Okay. I hope you have understood. This is the sample program to show how the while loop works. Okay, you can write this program on your lab records and for your reference. Okay, now let us go to the next slide. Now the next slide is about for loop. The syntax of the for loop is here. For has got three parts as a part of these braces, that is initialization, condition and incrementation, then the body of a loop. Now in case of the for loop, the condition is again checked at the top, therefore it's a pre-tested loop or entry control loop or top tested loop. Now the moment the condition till the condition is true, the loop's body will be executed. Once the condition becomes false, the loop is terminated. This is true of all the three loops. That is, the loops will execute till the condition is true. Now how many times the initialization is done? This is done in the first step of the life cycle and only once. Okay, after, if you see in the while loop also, initialization was done first. Then after that what happened? The condition was checked. After that, if the condition was true, the body of the while loop was executed. After that incrementation was done. Then after incrementation, condition was again checked. Same thing will happen in case of for loop also. First initialization will be done, then condition will be checked. If condition is checked true, the body is executed, first pass is completed. Then after execution of the body, incrementation will be done. Now onwards, condition and incrementation will be followed by checking the condition, and till the condition is true, body is executed, again incrementation is done, condition is checked, body is executed, incrementation is done, condition is checked, condition is true. The moment the condition becomes false, the loop terminates. Okay, so it is same as while loop, but the structure is different. Here initialization, condition and incrementation are the part of the syntax. If you see in the while loop, we had only, you see here in the while loop we had only condition here, but here in the for loop, initialization, condition and incrementation are the part of loop. These should be separated by two semicolons. Okay, there is not a semicolon here. Okay, then within the body you can have set of statements. Again, I am using this loop, for loop, to display first 10 odd numbers. Odd numbers are those numbers which are not divisible by the 2. The first odd number is 3, then 5, then 7, then 9. If you see, the previous new odd number is always the previous odd number plus 2. Same logic we are using here. The first, in this case, but I am initializing odd to 1. If you see in case of even, I initialize the even to 0. Now in this case 2 will be added to 1, that will become 3, and it will be the first odd number. Then 2 will be added to the previous odd number and it will become 5. Then next till all the 10 odd numbers have been displayed. Okay, again here in for loop we have to, there is an initialization. Actually we don't have to write here this, there's a mistake here, we don't have to write this step here. Okay, now for the for loop in the pseudo codes we write it like this: for I is equal to 1 to 10, that means this body should be executed 10 times and I should be stepped by 1, that is the value of I should be increased by 1. This is how we write in pseudo codes. Okay, but in the programs you will write in a different way. Note, I have told this step, that is I is equal to I plus 1, should not be written here. Okay, Now let us go into the IDE and see how we can do it. See, again I'll be using almost the same logic. I will put this as odd, then I'll put this value as 1. Instead of this, I have to use a for loop. Then I have to do initialization, that is the part of loop. It should be done equal to 1. If you check in the while loop, we also initialize I equal to 1. Then we wrote the condition. Here we have got 3 parts. Then we have the last part, that is I equal to I plus 1. That is the incrementation part. Now instead of doing, we have to use here odd and we display our first odd number, and we don't have to write this step. Okay, now let us see how this loop works. What is the life cycle of this loop? First step is, even if you don't initialize it here, because initialization is done here within the for loop itself. So see, let us see the execution of this loop. Okay, let me watch. Okay, now let us check the execution. First, initially I is equal to junk value. Okay, now odd is equal to 1. So you see odd, it will be set to 1. I is junk. Now screen is cleared. Now what happens after this? You check first step, what is happening to the I. I will become now 1. This is what is called as initialization. Okay, 1. Then the condition is checked. This is the second stage in the life cycle. First stage is check is initialization, and this will be done only once, that is at the start of the loop. Same was true of while loop. Initialization is only done once at the start of the loop. Okay, so the first step in the life cycle is initialization, and it is done only once. After that, what's the second step? Checking the condition. Okay, so once we compare the value of 1 with 10, condition is true, and in this case also the condition will be true till your I is less than or equal to 10. Okay, for all values of I that will start from 1 to 10, this condition will be true. The moment the I becomes 11, condition will become false. Now this is the first pass, because I is equal to 1. So odd is changes to 3, because I have set odd to 1. Now my first odd number becomes 3. I print this odd number. Now you see I has become 2. So I has changed from 1 to 2 because of this incrementation. Now onwards, what will happen? Incrementation, body checked, condition checked, and if condition true, body executed. Incrementation, condition checked, and if condition true, body executed, and it will follow like this till the condition is true. The moment the condition becomes false, control is transferred out of the loop. See here, 5, 4. Now I is 5, condition is true. For 6, condition is true. If you check, it will be printing the odd numbers, that is 7 odd numbers first. Now 8th odd number, then 9th odd number, then 10th odd number. The moment it becomes 11, control is transferred out of the loop. If you see, this for loop executed these two statements again and again. How many times it again executed? Sorry, it executed 10 times. So this loop had 10 passes, because body was executed 10 times, and each pass is also called as iteration. So it had 10 iterations or 10 passes for this logic. If we change the logic, naturally the number of passes will change. Okay, now once again initialization was done only once, then the condition was checked as in case of while loop. Then what happened after that? Body was executed, incrementation was done. Okay, then condition was checked. If condition was true, body was executed. If the condition was false, control came out of the loop. If it is not like that, how many times this process will continue? The sequence will be like this only. First body executed, then condition checked, sorry, then incrementation, then condition checked. Condition true, again the same steps. Body executed, incrementation, condition checked. Condition true, again same steps. Body executed, incrementation, condition checked. The moment the condition becomes false, the loop terminates. And if suppose the condition does not become false, it will become a infinite for loop. Okay, so while loop and for loop are same, excepting that there is a syntactic difference between the two. Okay, now let us see the next slide. This was so far as for loop was. Now let us see do while loop. Do while loop has the following syntax: do, execute the body. So in the top there is no checking of the condition. Since condition is not being checked, therefore body will be executed, because the body is immediately after the do. Then the condition is checked at the bottom of the loop, and if the condition is true, control will be transferred back, that is to the top of the loop. So in this case what will happen? Naturally again you have to do initialization out of the loop, then you have to write incrementation before checking of the condition. Okay, and then you will check the condition, or the loop will check the condition. If the condition is true, it will transfer the control to the top. Since the condition is checked at the bottom, therefore it's a post tested loop or exit control loop or bottom tested loop. Now let us see the example program. In this algorithm I am simply adding the two numbers. Oh, the heading of this program should be program to add the two numbers as many times as the user wants. So you should change, the heading of this program to add the two numbers depending number of times, and that many number of times as many times the user wants. Let me go into the IDE itself and I'll explain the logic and the program there only. Okay. You have already done this program, that is the program for addition of two numbers. Now I will write that program only, then you can understand how the do while loop works. Again I have a loop control variable I, and I want to add two numbers, therefore I should have number 1 and number 2. Okay, I'll write the program first, then I'll explain the algorithm. Okay, that will be easier. First I display the message to the user. Enter first number. Then I say so this is a program to add two numbers, simple program. Then I copied this message. You have to type it again, but as a shortcut I copied the first one and make it changes. Now what I have done, I have entered the first number, then I have given the message to the user, enter the second number, and he use the scanf to enter the second number. Now after that I'll perform the sum of the two numbers. Sum is equal to number 1 plus number 2. Since the program is very simple, therefore I did not explain the algorithm. Once you go into the algorithm later on, you will see it will be easy to follow. Now I have found the sum of the two numbers, then I display the sum. Let us first execute this program. So I am using a variable. I have to declare that. Okay. Now it's okay. Now see, first I am clearing the screen, then entering giving the message, then I am entering the first number, suppose 12. Then I am scanning the second number, suppose 13, and then I am finding the sum, that is n of 12 plus 13. Then I am printing the sum, then I am printing the message, and now I am printing the sum. So how much is the sum? That is 12 plus 13, that is 25. Okay. So it is a simple program which we have done already, but now suppose I am a user and I want to execute this program. Control F9. Okay, now I am running. User is running this program. He's being asked to enter the first number. He enters. Then he is being asked to enter the second number. He enters again 12. Then he gets his result as 24. Everything is fine. Now suppose the user wants to execute the program again, but he has to again run the program. Can we somehow ask the user whether he wants to do this process again? No. I compile the program again, I run the program again. Next time I am running, I enter the numbers. Okay, now again the program ends, my output is here. What I want is that I want that user should enter a choice, and based on his choice these set of statements should be executed again. If he says I want to continue with this choice, or I want to again add the two numbers. Okay, what I do for this, I use a do while loop. I put all these statements into the do while loop now. That is do. Now this is the first curly brace of the syntax, then comes a while. I put all these statements in a do while loop now. Okay, do while, then condition. I will use a variable called choice. I'll say while the choice is equal to 1, you continue with this. Okay, I have a variable, loop control variable as choice instead of I call this variable as choice. Okay, now once the user executes the program first time, all these statements in the do while loop will be executed, because there is not the condition at the top. If the condition would have been at the top, then this program would have first checked the condition. So since the do while loop we don't have the condition at the top, so loop body is executed once at least. This is how the do while loop is different from the other two loops, that is the while loop and for loop. In while loop and for loop, in the first pass itself, that is in the beginning of the loop's life cycle, once the initialization is done, condition is being checked, and if the condition is false, loop will terminate. But in this case, since the condition is checked at the bottom, therefore loop body will execute at least once. But in case of for loop and while loop, loop body may be executed once or maybe not, because if initially only the condition is false, the loop will be terminated and there won't be any pass of the loop. But in the do while loop there will be at least one pass of the loop. I hope it's clear. It is, the difference is because the condition is at the bottom and it is an exit control loop. Now I am asking the do while loop to check the condition, and if the condition is true, then transfer the control to the top, because again do while loop is a loop. It will be used to execute the set of statements in its body again and again, depending upon the condition. Until the condition is true, it will execute. It will continue with that execution. Now let me enter the choice here. Enter your choice. Okay. One for continue, two for exit. Okay, this is a message that will come to the user that enter your choice, one for continue and two for exit. Now I enter the choice. Now this loop, that is do while loop, is controlled by the choice. Note the differences which I have used in the logic of this loop. First, there is no initial value of the choice. Okay, it is equal to chunk. Second, there is no incrementation of the choice. Okay, but the loop's execution is based on a loop control variable choice, and there is no what you call initialization or incrementation on this variable. But this variable, that is the loop control variable, is input from the keyboard, and depending upon the response of the user that he enters to the keyboard, the loop will continue or not. Let us see first stepwise, then I will show you. Now I enter the first number as 12. Okay, it will ask for the second number. I enter the second number as 23. Okay, I find the sum, then I display the sum, then I display the sum. After this I enter a choice from the user. Now the choice which I enter is suppose 1, because 1 is for continue. If I have entered choice as 1, loop's condition is true because 1 is equal to 1. Okay, then the loop will execute again. How long will this loop execute? Every time at the end, whenever the user enters choice as 1, this loop will continue. The moment he enters the choice as 2, the loop will execute because condition will become false. Let us see. In the second pass of the loop, I give value as 12. Now I give 78. Now I display the sum. Now I enter the choice from the user. The sum was equal to 90 and the user's choice is, suppose he says choice as 2. He says choice as 2. What happens? In this case the condition is false and the loop terminates. This is how this do while loop is used to control the number of the times the user wants to execute a program. We at the end of the loop, that is, but within the body of a loop, we ask the choice from the user. And if user enters the choice that he wants to continue, we base our loop's condition based on that choice. And if that choice matches with the choice that we have kept for continue, then the loop will continue. And if it matches with the choice that we don't want to continue, that is 2 for exit we have kept, we can keep the choice according to our wish. That is, we could have kept the choice 11 for continue and 20 for exit. In that case, we have to keep it like this. We have to check choice is equal to 11. Okay. Let me now run this program, not in the trace mode, but at one go, and you will understand its beauty. First I compile, then I run. Okay. Enter the first number. I enter first number as 12. Enter the second number. I enter. Now the sum is displayed at 35. Do you want to go continue? Yes. Now it asks me again. I want. So I can run this program as many times as I want till I enter choice as 2. Once I enter choice as 2, the program terminates. This is the beauty, and this is actually where we use do while loop, where we want to give the user an option whether he wants to execute the program again and again without doing it from the mouse or without what you call again. This is the inbuilt logic within the program that is used to control the execution of program again and again. I hope This is clear now. Now I can once again this one. Okay, slash. Okay, show the execution once more. Want to will again compile and run the program. Enter your first name, then second name. Now the sum is 46. Your choice was 1 for continue and to enter your choice. So I enter choice 1. Again I execute the program. Now it gave me the sum of the two numbers. Now I say 2 for exit. The program terminates. This is the application of do while loop. Now this is the algorithm where we found the sum of the two numbers and then asked a choice from the user. That is, first I use the start sum I initialize to 0. Then I said to the user enter the first number. This is my where my do while loop begins at the step 3, and these set of statements will be executed again and again till the user inputs a choice, and choice is equal to 1 will continue. Once the choice becomes other than 1, that is 2 or something else, then we will exit. Okay, now we have seen that we have two types of loops based on the nature of the control variable or a loop variable. One is a counter control loop and another is a sentinel control loop. The examples of while loop and for loop where we used I, where we initialized I and then we checked the condition and also incremented I, is called as a counter controlled loop, loop. And the example of the do while loop where we did not initialize the loop control variable and we did not increment the loop control variable, but we inputted the value from the user, and based on the user response we continued with the loop or we did not continue with the loop. Such loops are called as sentinel controlled loops. I hope you have liked today's lecture. Thank you.